welcome to our video on set notation. Now what we're about to do in this video is talk about some new symbols that will show you how to represent some of the things you've been talking about in mathematics in previous years, but we need to be able to write them in a mathematical way and read the mathematical symbols as well. So to start with, I'm going to define for our example 4 different sets. I'm going to say A is even numbers below 10, B is multiples of 4 below 10, C is numbers starting with E when we write them out, spelling them out, and D is multiples of 12 below 10. So we're going to use this example for all of the new terms and symbols to give you some examples for each term that we talk about. Now, what is a set? We're talking about set notation. A set is a group of elements. These special squiggly brackets that look like that show the elements in a set. So we can write A equals squiggly bracket, and it's even numbers below 10. 2, 4, 6, 8 is the set A. The set B, multiples of 4 below 10, 4 and 8. C is the numbers starting with E when we spell them out, and that would be below 10 as well. I've just forgotten to put that in. That would only be the number 8, and I'll leave D until later. When you're showing, so each of these here is an element in a set. There's 4 elements here, 2 elements in B, and only 1 element in C. When you're showing the elements in a set, like a list like this, you must use squiggly brackets on each side. You can't use your round brackets, can't use your square brackets, they mean something else. You need to use squiggly brackets. Squiggly brackets show the elements in a set, and a set is a group of elements. We always use capital letters to name a set. Here we've got A, B, C, D, but you can use any letter of the alphabet, but you need to use capital letters, don't use small letters. This symbol here, which I like to call squiggly E, is the universal set. It's everything. In our example up here, I would define the universal set to be numbers below 10. So I could write it in squiggly brackets, 1, 2, 3, up to 10. Oh, 10's not below 10. Let's go up to 9. Or if you're feeling a bit lazy, you could write it as 1 to 9. This way is more correct, but if it's like 1 to 100, you don't need to write out every different possibility. You could just write it like in shorthand. This symbol here, it looks like an E, but it's curvy. You might have seen when I drew it, it starts like a C and then you just add the middle line in there. It means is an element of. So we can say 2 is an element of A, and we would write it like this. 2 is an element of A. When you do, actually I'm just going to fix that up a bit. 2 is an element of A. When you write your E for element, you need to make sure that it's curved at the sides and has straight in the middle. Don't draw a capital E because you might have a set named capital E. I've gone up to D here, but I could easily go up to E. It's also useful to have the extra long lines on the E to show that it's an element symbol. If this is an element of, then is not an element of would look like this, just with a straight line through it. 5 is not an element of A. This one here, so it's similar but no strike through the middle. It looks like a C, but again it's got the longer arms on it. This means is a subset of. B has 2 numbers in it, and these 2 numbers are in A as well. B is a subset of A. B is a subset of A. Now you want to make sure again you've got your curved line and it's got the extra long arms on it so it doesn't look like a capital C. Again, it's not a subset of, put your symbol in, put a slash through it. A is not a subset of B because everything in A is not in B as well. A is not a subset of B. This one here is kind of like, remember we did less than or equal to? This is similar. It is a subset of or is equal to. So if A and B were exactly equal, you could say B is a subset of or is equal to A. So you just put that extra line in for is equal to. This symbol here, a 0 with a line through it, represents the null set. Null means 0, and we have nothing in that set at all. D up here is multiples of 12 below 10. There are no multiples of 12 below 10, so D is a null set. When we write the null set symbol there, we're not writing any elements, so we don't need to put it inside the squiggly brackets. We only use the squiggly brackets when we're listing off all the elements in a set. This symbol represents intersection. It's where the 2 sets cross over. So it's any elements that are in A and B. So A intersection B, or A intersect B, we often say for short. So anything that's in A and B, let's check. 4 is in A and B, and 8 is in A and B. So A intersect B equals, and we're listing the elements, so I'll put it in squiggly brackets, 4 and 8. Now, really important to put this AND word. We'll be using that a lot more in our future work with probability, but it means something is in A, whatever's in A, and is in B as well. When you draw the intersection sign, it's like a U, a capital U, but upside down. So it's curved, and it goes straight up, and it goes as high as your capital letters and as low as the bottom there. This symbol stands for union, which is everything in one set or the other. So or is the word we use for that. Really important to put these words next to these symbols because we'll be using them later. A union B. Anything in A or B. So really all you do is you list everything in A and everything in B. We don't need, in this situation, these two things are already in A, so we just list what's in A, because we don't need to list the 4s twice and the 8s twice. So in this situation, A union B, everything in A or everything in B is 2, 4, 6, 8. A small n at the front, and A means the number of elements in A. When we do that right at the start, you just count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. A PR out the front is the probability of A occurring. If we assume these have all got an equal chance of happening, and there's 9 numbers altogether, so using our probability rule, probability of A is going to be the number of elements in A over the total number of elements. So the total number is the number in the universal set. That's our probability rule from before, but we were writing it out in words. Now we can use symbols to show it. Number in A is 4, and the total number in our universal set is 9. And that's going to be our probability of A occurring, if all these numbers were equally likely. So a situation where this might happen, you might be rolling a dice with a 9-sided dice that had 9 different numbers on it. They've all got an equal chance of coming up. Thanks for watching the video.